Online. Hey, would you guys in the room, would you wave to our online folks? Because there are folks who are not ready to come out yet, but I want them to still feel loved here. Hey, this song is called Don't You Know You Walk With God. So I'm going to ask the people who are in the room if you can stand as you are able. And I've been walking around a lot. Has anyone else been doing a lot of walking during COVID? So, Olivia, would you please sing this through the first time? If you don't know the song, this is your chance to learn the song. It's super easy.
Oh, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? Well, come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God?
You can feel your body moving already.
So hold your head up high. Don't you know you walk with God?
All right, so that's a really easy song. I'm also going to introduce you to Karen R. Smith. She is our office manager, but she's also a dance professional, and so I've asked her to come and provide us with a few models for how you might walk with God. And you got your own version of it. It can be small or big or geeky or gawky, but she's going to give us some models while we sing along. Ready? 1, 2. Well, come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? Oh, I like that one. I'm going to do that one. Yeah. Come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? Now hold your head up high. Here we go. So hold your head up high. Don't you know you walk with God? All right, I like it. Now let's imagine that we are the Unity Ballroom, and I'm going to see a fabulous walk. Give us a walk across, Jennifer, and show us how you might walk with God. Your variation. Ready? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Unity. Sienna, would you please give us yours in the category of how to walk in your divine presence? Awesome. All right. So when you're walking around in your world, and even where you are standing, can you give us your version on this next one? We're going to sing, come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? And give us your walkingest stuff. 1, 2. Come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? Walk, 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 walk. Yeah. Come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God? Walk, 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 walk. So hold your head up high. Don't you know you walk with God? All right, the second part is sneaky. It goes like this. Ready?
Every day I walk with God.
Try that. Every day.
Every day I walk with God.
That's got that arms over the ears thing too.
Every day I walk with God.
All right, from this place, from in the middle of dancing, it's time to pray.
And so we take this energy and we move it into our opening statement, which is, there is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
We're going to sing Every Day I Walk with God, except because we're from this quieter place, we're going to use it to bless somebody that you know out there who might need to know they walk with God. So you're going to say, every day you walk with God. And keep that person in your mind. Every day. Here we go. And
Every day
release your blessing to this person every day.
Every day you walk with God.
Oh, yes, because you know it.
Every day you walk with God.
Come on, now work the room, ladies. Here we go. Come on.
Come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God?
Come on now. Come on.
Come on, come on. Don't you know you walk with God?
Oh, yeah. Last time.
Head up high. Don't you know you walk with God?
Thank you. Karen R. Smith, Sienna, and Jen Bolt. All right. Please be seated.
Good morning, and welcome to Seattle Unity, both in the room and online. Thank you for being with us and for joining us today. So let's join together in our mission statement, which is on the screen. We are a welcoming spiritual community, thriving in the heart of Seattle, celebrating, inspiring, and deepening our individual and collective spiritual journeys. So if you have a prayer request and if you're at home, please type it into the chat box and we'll pray with you following the service. And for those of us in the room, there are prayer request forms back there by the prayer offering box. You can fill those out and then we will bless you following the service. And so as we move into our announcements, let us all stand and greet one another. All right, and so as we find our way back to our seats, I'm going to share our reading this morning. And our reading comes from our author this morning and our speaker, Megan Smith Brooks, from her book, Unraveling Grief. We could do better in allowing the experience of grief to be honored and supported as part of our human existence, something no one can escape or avoid. We could heal and pave the way for fewer broken people walking the planet, acting out their pain, that in turn causes more pain and suffering in the world around them. I believe it is unresolved grief that is being called to be healed and transformed in our world today. Our lack of acknowledging the pain of grief in all forms has contributed to a world of people not recognizing the divine within each other, and therefore not realizing the impact of their unresolved grief, that their unresolved grief has on both their actions and every living thing on our planet. So what if we realized that we are all connected in thought and mind, and with one collective breath, we could align with each other's wholeness? Imagine that in your mind. See a circle of beings holding hands around the planet and taking in a collective breath of oneness. And then we all exhale together into the peace of our connected hearts. What would we experience with each other then? we can make a difference in a powerful healing and transformation of souls on our planet. And I believe breathing is the catalyst of healing and a return to our wholeness.
We're preparing for a 3-minute silent meditation, so I encourage you to use this moment to get comfortable where you are. Set aside any distractions. We'll use a very easy chant. Let go, let be, and receive the Spirit in all things.
Let go, let be, and receive the Spirit in all things.
Try that.
Let go, let be, and receive the Spirit.
shine upon you. Be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you
May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May her favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. God is with you. God is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming and your going, your weeping and rejoicing. God is for you. 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 God is for you.
Thank you. That's beautiful, hey? Let's hear it for our home team. So we have a special treat this morning. We have Reverend Megan Smith Brooks is our guest speaker, and Megan comes from Seattle Unity. This is where she started. She attended Seattle Unity from 1992 to 2004, and she served as a bookstore manager, volunteer coordinator, wedding coordinator, platform assistant, choir member, and then became a licensed teacher and taught classes in the church. So that prepared her for ministerial school, and she was ordained in 2004, which is where she met her husband, Michael Brooks. Since then, Megan has served ministries in Unity Ministries in Mesa, in Orange County, Pasadena, and most recently, New Thought Unity Center in Cincinnati. She is currently the leader of an alternative ministry called Unity Awakening Ways. And if you would like more information, she does have an email list that you can sign up for. And her grief workshop is happening, instead of in person here today, it's going to happen on Zoom September 1st. And you can also sign up for that. We have information on our website. And she has her book available called Megan Smith Brooks, Unraveling Grief, A Mother's Spiritual Journey of Healing and Discovery. So please join me in welcoming home Reverend Megan Smith Brooks.
This is so special for me. It has been so long since I've been here. Of course, you're not in the same building, so I don't recognize where you are. But I'm just so honored to be able to come home. And I've been speaking across the country virtually in the last year and a half, so it's really special to be able to be in person as well. It's a familiar and yet unfamiliar moment. So thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm feeling really emotional. There is a song that's really moved me by Janice Stanfield called If I Were Brave. Have you ever heard that? It's a beautiful song. Some of the lyrics go, what would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve if I were truly brave? How brave are you? Have you had the courage to dig deep, I mean really deep, into finding what it takes to live life, to embrace all of its challenges, its pain, the loss, the grief, the disappointments, the unexpected changes, like in the last year and a half? Have that thrown you off your foundation? How are you handling that? You know, all the health and relationship challenges that we have through our lifetime, the career and home changes and challenges, the deep and painful loss, the different losses that triggers grief challenges, and the things that haven't worked out in life. Have you had a few of those? The disappointments of things that didn't turn out the way you wanted, and it just really just crushed you? Do you have the courage to take the next step forward, to just take that step and know that you can thrive, not just merely survive? I mean, why would we want to limit ourselves to just surviving in life when we could thrive, when we can really soar, we can really express ourselves and all of our potential if we had the courage to step out of our own self-imposed limitations, right? So I know you've been exploring the alchemy of courage the last few weeks, and I wanted to really just focus today on thriving through life's challenges, because I think that that's a really important situation that we don't always think about, and yet it's something that we experience almost every day. So I know Karen mentioned a few weeks ago the meaning of the word courage. I always like to look at, what is the root of a word that we might use regularly in life? We just kind of toss it around, but do you really think about what did it mean? What was its original intention? And the word courage comes from the Latin cor, which literally means heart. Did we know that? Which means to stand in one's core. It's a striking concept that reinforces the belief that's found in almost all traditions that from the center is what enables us to face whatever life has to offer. It's taught in martial arts. They refer to it as the Dantian or the Qi. It's that energy center that makes us stronger. And so we stand here and we're able to be adaptable and flexible and bendable no matter what happens in life. And so it's a really important awareness for us to have in how we move forward to whatever it is that's being thrown in our path. So we can stand up to life much more powerfully when we stand in our core, in our centeredness, in our courageous heart. There's a story, I actually mentioned it in my book. It's a spiritual story from an unknown source that I think speaks to courage, which really has a lot to do with defining how we live our life. And during a momentous battle, a Japanese general decided to attack even though his army was greatly outnumbered. So you can imagine how the soldiers were feeling. So he was confident, though, that they could win, and when his men, even though they were filled with doubt. So on the way to the battle, they stopped at a religious shrine to pray. Nice concept. And after they prayed, the general spoke to his soldiers, his army, and he said, I'm going to take out this coin, I'm going to toss it, and if it's heads, we shall win. If it's tails, unfortunately, we will lose. So as he did that, can you imagine the anticipation in the room? They're like holding their breath. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? It's like they're putting all their faith in the coin, right? So he tosses the coin, he turns it over, and it was heads. And so they were all just cheering and they were so happy. And of course, then they had this courage and they confidently and courageously and victoriously won the battle. After the battle, a lieutenant came forward to the general and he said, well, no one can change destiny, right? Quite right, the general said, as he showed him that the coin had heads on both sides. So you may have heard that story, but I think it's really important to realize that perhaps courage to face adversity needs a little push once in a while. Or is it innately within us, for us, just waiting for us to tap into it, to realize that it's a part of who we are? Do we seek others' advice to someone that, maybe we think has more authority than ourselves, that has more, a perception of more intelligence than we have? And so we are afraid to take that step into unfamiliar territory unless somebody else says it's okay, or that it'll be safe, or that we will win. How often do we live our life like that? So, stepping into that seemingly overwhelming situation, do we have the courage to do that? Or are we going to look for the safe way, the safe route, the guaranteed route? Do you think your divinity, that potential within you lives that way? So I think our divine guidance can be that encouragement for us to know the true courage of our heart, our centeredness, our dantian, the place that keeps us adaptable. I love this quote by Kristen Rogers that I think addresses that truth. He said, the courageous spirit is like a flower in the springtime, slowly opening up her tightly closed petals to reveal the very essence of creation hidden inside. She strips away layer after protective layer until her true nature is fully exposed, dropping every mask, interesting concept, shedding every lie, and revealing or releasing every judgment until she finally uncovers a spark of the divine flame flickering within her. When I choose to sit still and allow myself to connect to that voice of spirit in my heart, in my mind, in my entire soul, I consider my life challenges, especially those most painful ones, the ones that have knocked me off my core, that have knocked me off my center, the traumatic ones. And how have they served me in becoming who I am right now, in an unflowering, in a way, sort of, so to speak. I think it's worthy of us to consider that for ourselves. Were all those things meant to serve a purpose? And how that I have evolved and how you have evolved and how your life may show up now in the present? I think so. I really believe so, if we look in hindsight, that everything we've experienced has served a purpose of value and a way to enhance who we are that has called for us to have the courage to expand the boundaries of our experience, of our reality, of who we are. So when I've made the most progress in my life, it has been when I've had the courage to face a painful or difficult situation and to forge my way through what seemed to be impossible odds. You know, we've all had a few decades of life in this room, I'm pretty sure. So you've had those experiences that have challenged you at your core, that have been painful, that have perhaps knocked you to your knees, and you don't know how to get your next breath or how to move forward. You know, just like the impossible odds that those men in that battle were facing, a larger army. And yet, even though it was the coin that gave them the courage, it really came from within them to know that you can face impossible odds and still come out in a positive experience. That courageous spirit that will not be deterred. Have you tapped into that? That place where you just know, like, I'm going to step off this cliff and know that I'm not going to crash and burn. So when I've chose to do those things, it's like decades ago, when I chose to leave an abusive marriage with 2 little boys, not knowing how I was going to survive, how we were going to move forward, but I had to do it. When I chose to leave a job that was diminishing my sense of creativity and my joy in my daily reality, with no plan of what I would do next, but I knew that there was a part of me that was dying if I didn't have the courage to step away. When I applied to ministerial school, what was I thinking, right, Karen? But I did it without knowing how I was fully going to support myself. I didn't have all the finances to cover those 2 years required to complete the program in that old program. When I accepted my first ministerial job and in another state, and I didn't have the financial means to even, pay for the gas to get there, let alone having a reliable vehicle, and yet I just kept moving forward. It's like, this opportunity wouldn't show up unless there was a way for it to serve me somehow. So I had the courage to take that next step, and miraculous things happened. What I needed showed up in ways that people go, how did that happen? I'm like, I just was determined. I expected a better outcome, and I had the courage to move forward. But most importantly, for me to find the courage of my heart was 8 years ago when my 29-year-old son, Justin, was murdered by an act of violence. And I had to somehow find a way to breathe again, literally, and have the courage to find my heart again, to find a way to move forward, to take that next step and say, I will not let this destroy me. And I discovered the way to honor my son was in how I chose to live. And I looked at how he lived, sometimes way over on the edge. He told me once that he knew that he needed to pack a lot in his life because he didn't think it would be very long. Of course, at the time, I thought, don't talk like that. But in hindsight, it's like what it taught me was not to be fearful of living, to have the courage to be on the edge and to trust the experience, to see it as an adventure, and to allow that potential and that creativity to express in its fullness, and to be that as a way shower to others. And so I had the courage to step off the cliff, so to speak, and allowed my life to unfold and realized that I needed to thrive. Not just get through the day, not just think I'm going to somehow find my way to get out of bed and get dressed and maybe eat something. I wanted to thrive at a higher level. And so knowing that I could do that there's this fullness in life that we can embrace without crashing, but learning to fly, learning to soar somehow. We can do that. So each challenge, each change, each loss came with a choice, and it will for you too, to courageously move forward into that uncharted territory. You know those old world maps, the Terra Incognito, where they had the world as we knew it was defined, and then they had all the scary monsters and the dragons on the outside, and you're not supposed to go there? No, we're supposed to go there. And it's our courageous heart that encourage us to face the monsters, to realize they're really there to teach us, and we will discover something amazing. So ignore the map. Bake your own, right? Otherwise, we live in this world that thinks it's just going to consume us or we're going to drown on the aftermath. And we live in this fearful reality. That's not a courageous heart, right? So I decided that the coin in my life said win. With each situation as it showed up. And I moved forward intentionally with confidence and courage, knowing my destiny is to thrive. Our divine nature sets that to be so. We come with the potential of thriving as a being. But we have to learn how to engage it, how to believe it at our core, right? So I wanted to do more than just to survive, to not settle for survival, but to realize that if I just settled, I'm limiting my existence. And that's tragic. How many people do you know that live that way? Only we can make that choice for ourselves, though. You can't do it for them. And so in moments of reflection, I relate to this quote by Christian author Vance Havner. He says, God uses broken things. It takes broken soil to produce a crop, broken clouds to give rain, broken grain to give bread, broken bread to give strength. So through the pain of my life challenges, the seemingly broken parts of myself that felt like it would never come back together again, I can now give way to the resilience and feel empowered, that empowered part of who I am and always have been. Isn't there a part of you that knows there's this core strength that will be there to support you no matter what, that will carry you through? That's what we have to discover. We have to choose in any given moment that we can be more than what we thought we could be. And so if I allow myself to be used as a result of my pain, of my losses, of my unwelcome challenges or my unwanted changes. We've all experienced a lot of unwanted change recently. How are you handling it? It's like, do we have that foundation, that core strength that we rely on to say, I will not be knocked over. I'm adaptable. I'm flexible. I can look at this and say, is there something I can learn from it? Can I use it? Mary Tyler Moore once said, I was surprised that she said this, pain, difficulties, and disappointments nourishes courage. You can't be brave if you only have wonderful things happen to you. We need perspective, don't we? Otherwise, we're missing out a part of the whole. We need it all. Every situation presents an opportunity in life to become what we were born to be. There's this spectrum of, everything is a vibrational energy. And we all think that, the ultimate is the joy and the ecstasy and the bliss, and we want to thrive in that intensity of that. But did you realize the intensity of joy and ecstasy and bliss is the same intensity of grief and sorrow and pain on the other end of the spectrum? We need it all. We need the whole thing to experience our wholeness. So courage, the courage of the heart, allows us to do that. So I ask yourself, what current challenge, loss, change am I facing now? Something. We all are facing something. And what do I want the outcome to manifest? Or what do I want to learn? What do I want to learn from this experience? That's where there's some value to learn from it. Or what do I want to be expressing in a more meaningful way? In a way that reflects the values of who I am, that allows my core to be the way through. I want you to mentally make a note of that or write it down. Capture those things. It's important to realize. And then ask yourself, what do I need to make this, what do I need to make this my reality? What do you need? What do you need to do or research or change or release to move in that direction? We always have to do something in order to create what we want to experience. You can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. So write those things down. What new purpose can I intentionally engage into reality? Maybe it's stepping out of my comfort zone. We've all been allowed to do that this last year. So it's important to not be focused on how I'm going to do that, because that gets us stuck, Focus on the what. What do I want? What do I need in order to create that, to move forward, and then let those things come to you. So know in the depth of your being that we're all capable of handling way more than we realize. Everything that happens in the now moment is an opportunity for us to say, what will I do? How do I want to show up? And remember the courageous spirit unfolding within you from that quote, gently stripping away layer after protective layer until your true nature is fully exposed, dropping every mask, shedding every lie, releasing every judgment, until you finally uncover a spark of the divine flame flickering within. The fearless, confident, and capable you. And so, in closing, I want you to realize that when you are standing in the courage of the heart, what you choose to do, how you move forward, how you show up, is creating your own living legacy. It is creating the legacy of your life that becomes the gifts that you offer to those that follow behind, that follow after you. It is those things that is how you honor the things that we have lost, and is how we represent the magnificence of who we are. So let that be how you live your life. And I want to remind you that our inner strength can help us be brave, to let go of the fear, to realize what we need, what our options are, what we truly want to do, to be, and become. And then be that. Let that courageous heart be that little push that digs deep, gathers all that energy up from within, and then you can step into life and just soar, just fly, take off with your wings. Have you ever imagined that you have wings? I've had those dreams where you just kind of go. You just sort of lift yourself up, and it's like, wow, what if it could be like that, right? I think we're born to thrive through all of life's changes, challenges, losses, and opportunities. So will you take that courageous step to soar? Will you do that? Will you stand in your courageous heart to be brave? It's your choice. It always has been your choice. So I invite you to choose from your core. Namaste.
When you feel that you just can't see your way, God's got it. God's got it. No matter how dark the day, God's got it, and God will make a way. Just believe, just to never doubt. I know that Spirit will surely bring you out, because God's got it. See you through. God's got it, yes, God's got it. There's nothing my God can't do. Yes, 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 yes. Just believe it, trust and never doubt. I know that Spirit will surely bring you out, 'cause God's got it, God's got it, God's got it all in control.
Thanks again to the home team and Megan, Reverend Megan Smith Brooks. Thank you for being here this morning with us. We come now to that time in our service to give of our tithes and our love offerings. And I just want to call out with gratitude every single person that has continued to support this ministry through your tithes and your gifts, because truly each of us is Seattle Unity. So every single person in this room, every single one of you that's connecting online. And so from that place of oneness for our community, I ask us to tune into our hearts. You can give through our website at seattleunity.org or through the text to give number, which is on the screen. And so let us just breathe in with gratitude for all those that give of their tithes, their love offerings from this place of prosperity and abundance. And with that, let us affirm our blessing of offering together. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. And so it is. And we know that these gifts go forward to bless the giver and return to you a millionfold and more. And so now let us turn and pray for those who have requested prayer. And so, again, just joining together and focusing in, centering in our hearts, taking a breath, and knowing that there is no distance in spirit. And so we join together, again, with all those that are online, all those that are joining in consciousness with everyone here in the room. And so we hold in prayer Sharenda, Linda, Maria, Sandy and Dan, Dawn and Rich, taking a breath. And we affirm divine order unfolding in the life of the Kimbrough family, of Cindy and Mary, of Paul and Riker, Roman and Laura and Angus. Again, just breathing and extending love and light, healing, wholeness, and well-being, prosperity. For Jamie and Bonnie, for Q and Josie and Christy, for Tyler and Alex, Chloe and Maddie, Chas, Casey, and Sabrina. And I ask us also to hold in our hearts and hold in prayer the people of Afghanistan. Afghanistan at this time, through all that they are experiencing as a people, as a country. We hold them in light and love, affirming divine order and safety, guidance and wisdom unfolding for all. And let us also hold in our prayers the people of Haiti and anyone else in any country, any place in the world, anyone who you may know in need of prayer at this time. And so we affirm divine order unfolding in the lives of all, and we know that God is at the foundation of each life in each place. And so it is. And so now let us turn together as we close in prayer with our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let's sing a closing song together. If you're in the room, I invite you to stand as you are able. And if you're at home, I invite you to stand as well. So this is a song. This is Karen Drucker's Face of God, which we've done for decades, but I haven't been programming it during the masked up times because I was like, well, we can't see the other people. I'll just wait till COVID's over. Well, that's not happening. We're going to be masked for a long time. So fabulous spiritual metaphor. How do you go ahead and do it anyway? How do you see the face of God when all I can see is your eyebrows and your glasses? You are the forehead of God. Well, I got to look beyond that and look a little closer. So I encourage everybody in this room, use this moment. And And it's also, it was me being ableist too. It was like, what if, like, how do I acknowledge the face of God if I'm not, and my eyes are going, if my eyes don't work, right? How do I do that real thing? So I encourage us, we're going to sing it through 3 times. Use this to see the face of God through whatever obstacle.